I've talked before how I really like early Nikon cameras, and my digital camera to this day is a Nikon, and the Nikon's F2s, F3s are fantastic cameras, and I always loved the Nikomats. But for some reason in the 1990s I didn't pay much attention to Nikon. I sort of looked at them slightly, but I was very happy with my Pentats, and the cheaper Nikons, the design to me then just didn't quite seem quite right, so I didn't pay much attention to them. But recently I've had an opportunity to use a couple of different 1990s Nikons. And this is the one I'm talking about today, and it's the Nikon F601, and this was launched in 1990, and that was a time when the likes of Pentats and Canon were very much going on the automatic focusing cameras. And automatic focusing cameras, when they first came out, we thought of them as being a bit slow, and would they really catch on? Fascinating, they caught on incredibly quickly, because things like reddings, and if you were using a camera in the field, you spent half your time worrying about the focus, and suddenly you didn't have to think about focus. I remember the very first redding I did in the 1980s, sort of finding focusing something you always did, but it was sometimes fiddle, and sometimes you even got it wrong, or if you were moving very quickly you might not have always refocused, where suddenly with automatic focusing it worked well and quickly, and particularly the Canons seemed to get it very, the first EOSs were very good compared to the really early automatic focusing cameras. Well, Nikon were a tiny bit slow to get going on autofocus, and in fact in 1990 this camera they brought out, the 601M, the M stands for manual focus, and this is a camera which is going towards automation. However, it has only a manual lens, and if you put an automatic focusing lens on, it will only work in manual mode. However, the rest of the camera is very much of a camera which will work in aperture priority, manual, program. I find the design really interesting. It's quite a plastic feel camera, but that makes it quite light. It's quite nice on the back. You have a aperture lock. To load the camera, again, we've got lots of automative features. You simply place the film in, put it over, close, and the camera will automatically load. So that's really nice and easy. And at the end, of course, the camera automatically winds back. We have on off switch, which can be a bit frustrating if you leave it on. You've got aperture, manual, program, and shutter speed. You have bracketing. You have a override, although it is a DS. Yeah, it has got the automatic sensor for the canister. 1990, you were still getting some films without the markings on, so you have got that ISO there. You can alter the speed of the drive and how the drive works. So you click and the camera moves on. The viewfinder I think is lovely, because you've got all that information in the viewfinder of the shutter speed, the aperture, and it's a really informative viewfinder. The CPU lenses apparently work well on this camera. It's the F mount. I will be reviewing shortly F90, which is a super camera to use. However, it's quite heavy. This, though it's not the lightest of camera, it ergonomically fits beautifully in the hand, and it's quick to use. It's very straightforward to use. I must say, when I used it, I was surprised with how much I liked this camera. This is a camera I've always slightly sneered at, and I shouldn't have done, because in use, and I hope you like the photos I put on the end here, it's a very usable camera. So that is the F601M. It's not a camera which people rush out to buy, so you might find to pick up one quite cheaply. The hardest thing is trying to find a lens that's suitable for it. However, if you find a 601, try it and you might be very surprised.